no skills, no talent, no anything, but you're good with people, you can tend to get your needs met. But if you have all the talent in the world, but you're terrible with people, you're not going to make it very far. Dale Carnegie said in his book that a person's name is the sweetest and most important sound they like to hear. If you learn to connect with people, remember their names, remember their stories, be interested in them, you will always be interesting and successful. So I want my son to be able to shake hands with people, look them in the eye, remember their names, have empathy, have conversations, connect with people of all ages, all backgrounds, and show love for them no matter where they came from. This is an extremely important skill. The next skill that we base everything on is reading. So as a dad, I love getting to read with my son. We have made it a habit to read every single night together before bed. We read something together. Sometimes he reads, sometimes I read, sometimes we read together. He now also likes to write stories and read books even other times of the day. And while most students are below reading level today, he's gotten himself above it. And that's nothing about how great we are. It's just building that habit of reading every day. A great tool that you can use also on the computer, over and above reading physical books, because there is something about touching physical books. But the Microsoft Reading Coach is a really cool tool you can use on the computer, especially if you have multiple kids and it's hard for you to read with multiple kids at the same time at different levels. You can come here with a free account, and from here you can actually log in, and you got a bunch of really cool options. So you can actually create your own stories using AI, which is fun because as a kid you get to build your own characters and whatever you're interested in, dinosaurs, animals, whatever that thing is, you can create a story. It also gives you rewards for hitting certain levels, tracks your progress, and you can read a passage from their pre-made libraries. It's available in English and Spanish. This is also a great way to incorporate in language learning, which we'll get back to later. But for example, it'll take you to a story. You get to pick. You can pick the level, the amount of words, and then it'll actually have you record yourself or your child record themselves. It was a bright, sunny day. Stella and her mom took a walk. "Look, Mom," said Stella. She pointed to the ground. "I can see my shadow." "Right," said her mom. "Your body blocks the sun. The place where the light is blocked is your shadow." "Watch this," Stella's mom said. She moved her fingers. Their shadow looked like a flying bird. She put out her arm. The shadow looked like a wiggly snake. Stella laughed. "This is fun in the sun," she said. What's great about this is as soon as you finish the reading, it'll tell you how you did. It'll give you your results as far as a percentage, your time, your achievements, what words you need to practice, and then you can go on and read that again, read something else, create a story with AI, go to your practice words so you can put targets out there. This is really good if you've got multiple kids. If you're a teacher and you have dozens of students that are all at different levels, you can't read with all of them one-on-one at a time. This is a great way to get multiple kids, multiple students working on reading at the same time. Next skill is touch typing. There is no getting around computers in the future, and if there's a lot of dictation, a lot of voice activation, but being able to work quickly is an extremely helpful skill for the future. And Ali Abdaal, who's an incredibly fast typer, said the bottleneck is often your speed of execution. You might have a great idea, you might have something you want to get down on pencil and paper into your computer, but speed actually is, what's the word I'm looking for? Exponential, and it compounds, especially in the digital world. So, some ways to practice your typing. If you're new to typing, one of the best ways and quickest ways you can get started is with a program called Typing Club. With Typing Club, you can actually get a free account. You don't need to pay. There are paid versions and upgrades for schools, but you can get a free account with your Google account. And from here, you've got Typing Basics, Typing Jungle. What I like about the Typing Jungle is it's got hundreds of different levels, and it starts you at the complete basics. So it actually teaches you where to put your fingers, how to type. It tells you if you get them in the right spot. It gives you all of these visuals, so it's very clear how to type, because learning the technique is super important. This is a great thing to have your kids work on. This is a great thing for you to work on as well. So it pauses frequently to give you feedback, which is great, and you can visually see, like, if I get something wrong, it's going to tell me. I can go back and get it right, and the whole time I'm typing, it shows me where my finger placement should be. So you'll start out like this, just typing some letters, and when you're done, going to give you some feedback, tell you good job. As you progress, it'll start to give you scores and times. So we're going to go back out to the menu. And this was, again, very beginning. That was level 2. But as you work your way down through the levels, 1, you've got different stories and different topics that are going on here. But 2, as you're typing and you've learned all the letters, it's going to give you some different stats as you type. So, for example, so as you can see here, I get a certain score based on my performance and my speed, but you also saw that my accuracy was not great on that one. So as you're going, those stats are not just for each time, but you can go in and see those stats compounded. You get progress, stars, and points. I used Typing Club in the classroom when I was a teacher for years. Great way for students to work independently and get feedback from the computer and get faster. Once they've gotten faster and they enjoy typing, let's get into some gamification. Nitro Type, another free program. It does have an optional upgrade. You can use it as a teacher, you can use it as a home, but you can come in and you can do races. So you're basically a car. The faster that you type, the faster your car goes. And it's actually a pretty addicting game. When I was using it with students, we would use it in class for first 5 or 10 minutes of class, and I would find them trying to get on it when they weren't supposed to be on it, and even in other classes. I got a huge compliment from one of the instructional coaches, and he said, we used to try to get kids off of games in class. Now we're trying to get them off Nitro Type. So it's very addicting. But what's great is they're reading, they're working on those fine motor skills, they're getting faster. I will say Nitro Type's not a great place to start because they need to learn the technique first. But once you got the technique, this is a great way to just get faster. And I actually had a student in my class double his typing speed from 30 to 40 words per minute to about 60 to 80. So the way it works, there's a whole bunch of cool features, but the main thing is you go click Race Now. After you have your free account, you jump into a race with 4 other competitors. Some of them are bots, and some of them are actually real other people. So you can race against your friends, and as you type the words, your car goes faster. Couple things to point out here. 1, Nitro Type's a little bit than Typing Club different in the sense that Typing Club, it lets you keep typing even if you make mistakes. Nitro Type, it will not let you go on until you type that letter correctly. So it'll actually slow you down until you get it right in that sense. When you're done, you'll get your stats. So you'll see here your words per minute, WPM. That's calculated at 4 letters is considered a word, no matter how long the actual word. So you'll get your speed. So you're working on trying to increase your speed. So mine was 143 words per minute here. And then your accuracy as well as the amount of seconds it took. And then they add all these upgrades and you can get cooler cars and all this fun stuff to keep your kids engaged. But this is a great way to get on, and you can have your kids or your students do 5 races, 10 races, certain amount of races a day, and it actually keeps the stats so you can go in there and check. So I would make that a requirement for my students that they had to do 5 or 10 races a day, and I was able to check and give them a grade for it. Also a great way to track, are you getting faster? Are you getting more accurate? Being able to type fast for me has helped me get everything I do with work done. Typing emails, typing reports, putting down ideas. Anything I need to do, I can get it done quicker, and then I can either get more things done or have more time to rest. Next powerful skill that I want to pass on to my son is language learning. So we are teaching him in a bilingual home. He's growing up learning English and Spanish. And I did hear a great quote that to have another language is to possess a second soul or a second life or a third one, that every language you learn opens you up to a new culture and a new life and really helps you to connect with people. Now, AI is doing some great things in the language space, so there's more opportunity than ever to use your phone as a translator, but there is nothing like making eye contact with someone and speaking to them in their language, especially if they're in a place where that doesn't happen very often. It just creates this sense of trust and empathy and connection. Plus, a lot of times when you learn a new language, it comes with new foods and new hobbies and really cool new people. So learning a language is huge. Best thing I can recommend in person is to go to stores or restaurants or grocery stores of other cultures and immerse yourself in the language. Travel if you can, and if you can't, you can use Duolingo. So this is a great place to come every day, and it kind of gamifies that learning process. Again, it's a free account. You can app on your phone, you can go on the computer, and you can come in and you can have hearing and speaking. But if you're in a place where you can't maybe listen or speak, it'll also give you questions to answer. The great thing about Duolingo is it uses gamification, and it uses the way we naturally learn languages. So instead of translating everything and just memorizing, you're actually learning by doing. You'll immediately get told if you got it right or wrong, and then it'll bring you back to questions.
Elles ont 3 chiens. Elles ont 3 chiens.
So what's great about Duolingo is you get that immediate feedback. It tells you if you got it right or wrong, and it keeps giving you the questions that you get wrong so you can learn them before you move on to harder things. And it knows your level, so it continues to move you on. Gamifies you. There's leaderboards. You can compete with family and friends. And what's great about this is you can use this to practice the language, and then when you go and connect with people that are speaking French or Spanish or whatever language you're learning, now you can practice the words that you have been using. Going back to kind of the main page for Duolingo, there are a lot of different languages you can learn. So these are the languages that I've signed up for: French, Haitian Creole, and Spanish. But you can see there's a wide variety of languages available for you to learn from. And pro tip hack, once you learn a second language, so let's say English is your first language, and now you learn Spanish, and you know Spanish. When you're going to learn French from Spanish instead of English. So now you're kind of getting English out of your mind, and you're learning a language from another language. The skill of learning a language is not just about the words. One, you're connecting with new cultures and new people, but two, you are learning how to learn. And I truly believe that language learning is the most realistic way of learning that exists. For example, in school, you are taught don't fail. F's bad. Do everything you can to get it right the first time. In language learning, much like life, you have to try, you have to stumble, you have to fail, you're going to make mistakes, people are going to laugh at you, and then you learn and you grow. There's no way around making mistakes in language learning. Much like life, business, family, you're going to make mistakes. And this really teaches you that you've got to get out of your comfort zone to be able to learn. So I cannot encourage you enough to incorporate language learning into your children. Next one is AI prompting. So AI is the wave of the future, the wave of now. It is already here. And if you haven't started, you're already late to the game. To be good at AI, you have to know a little bit about how it works. And I'm going to start with ChatGPT here. A lot of different AI platforms. But I want to start with a common mistake people make in ChatGPT. What I'm going to show you works. It's just not the most effective way to use it. What most students are doing in 2026 with ChatGPT is they've got a quiz, a test, something they're taking, and they are using it to answer their multiple choice questions. For example, they get homework and it says something like, what's the capital of Canada? And so they're using it to get answers to basic questions. Does it work? Yes. Is that what AI is meant for? Not at all, because you're barely scratching the surface of what you can actually do with it. It'd be like someone gifting you an airplane, and you're like, cool, I'm going to drive this around town. Sure, an airplane can drive, but that's not what it was meant to do. So for AI, you need to get good at prompting. But how do you get good at prompting? How can a kid learn this? Well, the best way is to have AI teach you how to prompt. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use this dictate feature so I can speak to it. And I'm going to say something like, can you give me 2 or 3 basic points to teach a child about AI prompting? Using the dictate feature, so that helps me to speak to it, especially if you're not reading and writing yet. And then it's going to give me 3 really cool examples of what prompting is for a kid. And I love this first example. It says, instead of saying, tell me about animals, tell me 5 facts about sharks for a 3rd grader. Do you notice the difference in specificity there? That already is huge, and that was just basic. Now, let's say I'm a little bit older and I have a little bit of experience, but I want to, maybe I'm a teacher and I want to help make a lesson for my math students. Best thing I can do instead of trying to come up with a prompt myself is have AI come up with a prompt for me. Can you help me create a prompt to create an awesome lesson plan for a 9th grade math class with mostly English language learners? We're learning about two-step equations. I have a 40-minute class and I want to break it into 4 10-minute activities. I want to do 5 or 10 minutes of teaching, and the rest of my time I want to be hands-on. Can you help me make a prompt to set up this class? So notice what I didn't do. I didn't give it a prompt. I'm asking it to give me a prompt because ChatGPT knows ChatGPT better than I do. So I'm asking it to help make a prompt. For those who don't know what ELL, that's English language learners. So if I'm a high school teacher and I'm teaching it, and a lot of my students, English is their second or third or fourth language, this is going to help me take that into consideration. So now it's not giving me a 40-minute lesson. It's giving me a prompt for one. And I'm going to take this and basically now I can say, oh, this is a pretty good prompt. So because it knows what it can handle. So I'm going to take this prompt and I'm not going to use the why this prompt works, but I'm going to select the piece that's actually a prompt. And I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it. Get rid of the copy paste part. But I don't have to take it as is. Let's say part of this doesn't make sense. So actually, you know what? My class is 45 minutes. It's a 9th grade class, but or it's actually they're 9th graders, but it's an 8th grade math level. So let's switch it to 8th here, right? And then I can just kind of change whatever details I want to make it specific to me. And then if I like it, now I'm going to have it give it to me. So basically, instead of me stumbling through a prompt, I am having it come up with the prompt for me. I'm just giving it the context. And now it's giving me a really cool lesson that I can use for my students. I see some vocabulary here and I'm like, my students don't love vocabulary. So it's still going. That's why that stop button's there. But I might do an additional prompt to say, hey, give me a fun way to go through these vocabulary words. So you can really do a lot with AI, but you have to know how to prompt. And if you don't know how to prompt, don't just go like, not a prompt, what am I going to do? Ask it. It will teach you how to do prompting. ChatGPT is great at that. Also highly recommend Grok from X. Claude, now Claude Code is available. Replic's another great one. Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. And then if you want to actually build something, you can go to Replit and you can build an app, design a website. This is really fun activities you can do with your kids because they are built to create. They want to create things. They want to see their work. So this is a huge skill for you to pass on to your kids. Next one is AI image creation and probably now video creation. So I actually just went to a webinar today on some tips and tricks for AI image creation. I want to give you a couple websites you can use to create images on. So you can actually use ChatGPT to create images. And you can just type in here, create an image of a dolphin sitting on the back of a shark riding a wave in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, I'm not giving it a whole lot of detail here. What I would probably do if I had more time was ask it to come up with the prompt for me. But it's kind of going to be working on this now. Images take a little bit longer, so I want to take that time while this is loading to show you Adobe Express, which will actually use Adobe Firefly, is another great place to create images. And you can kind of come in here and do a quick action. And let's say you want to create an image. You've got generate image here. So I'm in Adobe Express, which I believe there's free versions, but it's paid for a lot of it. It's using Firefly to create the image. Now, before I actually put in a prompt here, I want to go back to ChatGPT. How cool is this picture? And now you can tweak this, but this is fun. Even kids can come in and make cool images of things they're interested in. My son used to make dinosaur images all the time. Super cool. So anyway, help me write a prompt, not an image, to use on Adobe Express for a pirate on a pirate ship catching his parrot. It's flown away. So I kind of have an idea of I want a picture of something to do with a pirate ship, and a parrot, but I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna have it help me come up with the prompt. Image prompt. So I'm telling it, don't make the image, make the prompt for the image. And what's great is once I get this prompt, I'm actually going to take the prompt and I'm going to put it into 3 or 4 different image generators. So I'm coming here, I'm going to copy this. Now, again, if I don't like these details, if they don't meet what I need, cool, change it. I'm going to come over to Adobe Express or Adobe Firefly or whatever platform I'm using, and I'm going to have it generate. It's already generating these. While it's doing that, I'm going to switch to Grok, and I'm going to do the same thing. Tell it to create an image first. And then I'm going to have Chat GPT. I'm just going to say, make the image, please. Another great one is Microsoft Designer. So we're going to flip over there to Microsoft Designer, and we're just going to paste this option in. What's fun is a lot of these you can do on the phone too. So my son and I would be sitting somewhere waiting, get the phone out. We'd go to Microsoft Designer and we would go back and forth making different images. Super fun, bonding, but it's also fun for your child to get to see that they can create something. So those take a little bit of time to create. Images take a little bit longer, but let's check on it. So I'm going to go back to Adobe. Adobe has already made 4 images for me. And I can take a look. So here's your pirate on your pirate ship who's lost his parrot. So I can take any of these. If I don't like them, I can just adjust the prompt and add it back in. Or I can actually I can actually take the image and then tweak it and say, hey, add a second parrot or add a shark in the background or something like that. So I can add to the image that I've made. But this is pretty cool. And then I can take this image, and I've actually done this and turned images into puzzles and use them as GIFs for kids. You can do a lot with these images, use them as backgrounds. I'm going to go over here to X, which is Grok. This is a really cool image. It's a giant parrot. Go back over here to Chat GPT. You can see this one here, and then Microsoft Designer is still working. There it is. So really, really cool things you can do with AI image generation, which is now moving into AI video generation. And you can already do that. I'll save that for another video. Cool activities you can do with your kids, but it also teaches them skills that they are going to need to know how to do. Next one is business and finance. I was a teacher. I taught high school for 11 and a half years. I taught business a few of those years. And the best thing my students learned was how to create and start their own business. Because, yeah, they're learning math, they're learning science, they're learning different things in school, as they should. But math is different when you're doing equations on a test versus when you're collecting money for your own business or doing your own budget. And so I really felt like it took all the things you were learning and said, let's apply them. My favorite thing about business for kids is that I consider it a great equalizer. If you want to go get a job at the grocery store, you got to be 14, 16 years old, or McDonald's, or whatever you're trying to work. You can start a business at any age. Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter if you have a criminal record, doesn't matter all the things the world says, hey, you can't do this because of XYZ. Entrepreneurship is an opportunity for you. But a lot of kids graduate high school today with no plan, with no vision. They have no idea how money works. They're looking for jobs. They don't have job skills. Entrepreneurship teaches you those skills and empowers you to build your own future. So I want my son to learn about business. I want him to learn how to handle money, how to budget his money, how to plan for the future. So this is huge. And the last skill is just learning to learn. And maybe this is the first one, but our world is changing so fast. Anything that you learn in school today is going to be pretty irrelevant in the next few years. So the actual skills that you're learning are way less important than actually learning how to learn. You've got to be resilient. You've got to be adaptable. You've got to be ready to grow, and you got to hold loosely to the past because the future is changing so fast. If you went to school in the 1980s, your teachers probably knew most about the topic that they're teaching as anybody in the world and as was available out there. Teachers are no longer experts in the subject because there's so much to know. Teachers need to be experts at teaching their students how to learn because in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we're going to be in a completely different world and completely different economy. And we can't have students relying on what they learned 10, 20 years ago. They need to learn how this new world is going to operate and how they can function, survive, and thrive. So with that said, thanks for taking the time to watch the video. If this has brought you any value today, please take a moment to like, subscribe, share it to someone else. That helps me, helps support me. It doesn't cost you anything, helps the algorithm. I want to thank you for who you are and what you do. You have value. Go out there and do great things today.